Hi, I'm Candace with Slusher Consulting, and today I want to talk about moving into the new year ready to accept new challenges in home care, not taking all the baggage from last year with you. So let's talk about some of those things you need to do for annual compliance to keep your records straight, to make sure that you're not going to be in trouble, you're not going to worry about things. Just let's make sure we're getting the end of this year finished up, okay? And by the way, if you've done it, but not documented it, it's not technically done until it's documented, right? You have to be able to prove it to the state when they come and see you. So let's talk about first your annual emergency preparedness plan or drill. Now, I'm in Texas and they require that you do either a drill or a plan once a year. Now, if you've done the plan because you had some sort of emergency, then you don't also have to do a drill. Great, check, as long as it's documented. If you've not yet done a plan, well, then you still have a little time this year to knock out a drill before the end of the year. So I highly recommend you get on that. Check your state regulations for those requirements. And if you have some questions about it, get on my website, I can help you. Now, your quality assurance and performance improvement plan. If you are a Medicaid state-funded agency, you're required to do it at least twice a year. I recommend you do your QAPI more often if you're a large agency. So if you have 80 to 100 clients or more, quarterly is probably better. And you're going to want to make sure that you're involving your whole team when you're doing your QAPI. You also want to make sure you're doing your annual agency evaluation. And so what that means is you're just looking at the big picture of overall operations, your marketing efforts and their effectiveness, your budget and whether or not you're staying in it, your recruiting efforts and the conversion from applicants to employees, and even the length of stay for your employees. Are they staying around? Are they not? Is there something we can be doing better? As well as looking at everything under compliance, such as your actual client care, your quality assurance, your emergency plans. Are your policies up to date? Were there new things that your state implemented through regulations this year that still need to be added to your policies? All of that needs to be looked at once a year, just an overall evaluation. You almost can't do it wrong. As long as you're doing it, that's usually good enough, that you're just looking. That's what the state wants to see. Now, for your employees, you want to make sure that their annual performance evaluations are done once a year annually. Some agencies, rather than doing it at the actual each anniversary of the date that the employee has worked for you, sometimes they'll do all of them once a year. Maybe pick 1 month per year to do everybody's evaluations. And for some people, they'll be early, but they'll never be late. And that gives your agency an overall plan and kind of brings some of the chaos around those evaluations down a little bit, because it's a struggle to get your staff to come into the office, sign that paperwork, but it does have to be done. That is part of your compliance. And don't forget, of course, your administrator and alternate administrator also need some sort of evaluation. So you could even write those up for each other if you need to make sure there's something annually in your files. Staff background checks need to be done annually. Some of those needs to be done monthly. And of course, they need training. Now in Texas, our annual training minimum requirement is on emergency preparedness, infection control, and any updated policies that you might have for the year. Of course, don't forget your administrative continuing education. That is very important and has to be in your file. Now, if you are late on those, do what you got to do to catch up. I don't ever recommend backdating anything. Oftentimes, when your state surveyor comes in, if they see that you've already caught a problem and fixed it moving forward, they won't give you too hard of a time. Lastly, client care. Client supervisory visits, reassessments, per your policy. So sometimes those need to be done annually. In private pay situations, sometimes supervisory visits are done more often, which I do recommend.